Fate Melody, and I'm going to show you how to make this juicy fluid simulation in Cinema 4D. So I'm going to start by modeling the product, then staging our scene, then doing the fluid simulation. Then I'm going to show you how to render this out. For this project, we're going to use V-Ray render engine as our main render engine. Now, if you are using any other render engine for the final render, you can follow up just fine, as the laws they apply in different render engine. Regardless of the render engine you use, the basic principles apply. If you are trying to sharpen your 3D skills, I just launched something called the Cheezi Vault. It's a growing library of complete project files from real animated projects that I have worked on. You can open them up, study how everything is built, and learn directly from full working scenes. Going forward, I will also be adding project files from tutorial videos like this one, and even speculative pieces that I create so that you can study them also. So it's a solid resource if you want to grow faster by seeing how things are done behind the scenes. Now, if that sounds useful to you, the link is down below in the description, and there's an early bird lifetime discount available to the first 10 people. Let's start today's class. I'm going to begin by adding in a plane. This will serve as our reference. The plane is going to hold our reference, and we're going to trace around the plane. Hit the R key to enable the rotation gizmo. Click on the red color of the gizmo and hold down shift to rotate it on the x-axis. Now, while it's at 90 degrees, I'm going to let go. Now, I'm going to click on my plane to go into the attributes, and I'll set the width to 400 centimeter and the height to 500, giving it a 4:5 ratio. The reason for doing this is because the reference image is exactly this ratio. Now, I'm going to go into the render settings, and for this project, we're going to make use of V-Ray. Now, I'm going to go into V-Ray and add in my V-Ray materials. Now, double click on the V-Ray material, diffuse, then where it says texture, I'm going to click on this. Now I'm going to navigate to where I have my textures. This is it. I've imported my reference image. And I'm going to go into the preview setting, enable override preferences, then editor map size from default to 2048 by 2048. All right. Now I'm going to drag this on my plane. Now we should have a visual of our reference. Now I'm going to hold down E on my keyboard to enable the position gizmo, and I'm going to move it back a little bit on the Z axis rather. Now I'm going to go into the front view by clicking on here, and here's the front view, and growing it from here. Now in the display settings, I'm going to set display to ground shading with lines so I can see the outline now. Now I'm going to enable the spline pen tool. This is where you find the spline pen tool in Cinema 4D. I'm going to click on it to enable it. Now I'm going to zoom into my geometry. I'm going to start from the very bottom, which is here, and draw a spline. All right. So I'm going to repeat this, get here and draw a spline. I'm going to zoom in and start adding my splines. Let me hold down shift to reduce the size here and start adding in my splines. All right. So I'll do this as quick as I can. Using the move tool, I'm going to click on this particular point and move it a little bit to the center. I'm going to add in a lathe modifier and dragging my spline under this. This rotates my spline around the object, and now we have the body of our product. Now I'm going to hide this temporarily, and let's work on the cap. I'm going to click on the pen spline tool. I'm going to deselect this particular spline, so I'll create a new spline. I'm going to add in a new spline. To the lathe modifier and go back to my perspective view. So I'm done with the reference, and I'm going to disable this. So let's deal with the body and the cap. So this is how it looks like. All right, so I'm going to start with the body and disable the cap. Let me first check the topology. I'm going to check out the topology, and currently I am happy with how the topology looks. So I'm going to right click the lathe and click connect object plus delete. So this will make this a editable mesh for us. Now I'm going to use loop selection. Select the tip of the mouth, hold down the scale tool, scale it in till I feel it matches the reference here. All right. Now from here, I'm going to loop select the edges, the top edge, then using the D key, extrude it out a little bit. So I'm going to extrude it, take it up, then the D key again, extrude it, then take it up, then scale it in a lot more. So now let's go and work on the cap. So regarding the cap, there is not much to do except to add a bit of thickness. Let's go ahead and add in a cloth surface modifier, then drag the lathe under it. So with this, I'm going to thicken it internally. So -14 should work. Let's add in the bevel deformer, then put this in a group with the bevel deformer, Alt G. All right, this gives me the result I want. All right, so I'm going to increase the offset a little bit, then increase the subdivision. All right, I'm happy with this. Now let's change our display from ground shading lines to ground shading. All right, so we can see we have a little bit of a problem here. And let me even check the bottom of this. I'm going to convert this into an editable mesh by right clicking the connect and delete, then going to the edit mode, then using the face select loop selection, select this, then delete it. I'm going to loop select the edge here, extrude it a little bit, seal it down here. Once you get here, I'm going to right click, then use the close polygon hole, then close it. Now in the setting, I'm going to change it from basic to grid or to patch. Yeah, let's quickly add the thread and let me show you how to do it. So we're going to add a helix. This will serve as our thread and I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. All right, so I'm going to move it up, then scale it down till it sort of match the radius which I'm working with. So let me move to a different orientation to check that it's in the right position. All right, now I'm going to click on the helix and in the properties, I'm going to lower the height. I'm going to lower the height till it feels just right. Now I'm going to move it into place. So I'm going to add in a circle spline, then add in a sweep. I'm going to put in the circle and the helix under the sweep. So they are both children of the sweep. Now, zooming out, I'm going to click on the circle and lower the radius till I have my thread. All right, this looks good. Now that we have everything in place, I'm going to put the thread inside the null. Now, I'm going to click on the sweep, then go into the attributes of the sweep. Then where it says details, I'm going to click on it. Then I'm going to draw a graph in the scale. Now using the control key, I'm going to add a point here and here, then move this down. So you see it's affecting here, then move this down also. All right, so now we have a smooth gradient for you to start. Now I'm going to make this curve more beveled, then click here, then make this curve, click here, then make this curve beveled just like the same. So with this, we can start adding our materials. I added a cylinder, move it into place, then scale it up. It will serve as the actual cream inside. I clicked on the bottle and in the basic section of the attributes, enable X-ray so that I can see inside. Then click on the cylinder, then adjust the height to. That was what I did to get the internal cylinder. The materials for the glass is a little bit tricky. In my own version, I added a texture map. In order to add the texture map, I UV unwrapped this model, ported the UV map to Photoshop to draw out the texture map. But that is not our main concern for this video. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know so I can make a video showing how to UV unwrap your product in Cinema 4D. I'm going to duplicate this null. Now I'm going to move my object up, R on my keyboard, W to change the rotation axis. So I'm going to rotate it on the axis I want to work on. Then W to change the axis back, then move it. So I think it was somewhere around here. All right, so I'm going to click on this, open this up, close down the cloth surface, hide this. Now we have what we want. Now I'm going to move this backwards a little bit so that the fluid will come drip on this before going down to the ground. So I'm going to click on this on the cloth surface, go to the basic and make it an X-ray. It won't work. Let me go here and make it an X-ray too. Why is it not done? Why is it not X-ray? Look here. But I disable this. Okay. Going to disable the close of it. Now let me add in a plane. So this will serve as our plane, our ground object. All right, so I'm going to click on the internal cylinder here. This is going to serve as our source for the fluid. I'm going to go to RealFlow, go to emitter, go to object. Now a RealFlow scene will be created for us and an emitter will be created. The emitter will be making use of the cylinder as an object. So I can hide this for now. Let me just hide. Don't disable it, just hide it. So if I go to the first frame and press, let me first save my scene. This is a good time. Anytime you're running simulation, always save your scene. If you don't, your scene will crash and it can crash. Generally, any simulation in any 3D software, before you run the simulation, save your project. I'm going to save this project. I'm going to save it as Batman. All right, so here's the scene file and now I'm going to hit play. Nothing happened. Why is that? Let me play this and let me check again. Oh, okay, emission. Oh, I see. So now I added my emitter. In the body, I need to set where the object, I need to set the object that the fluid will be generated from. I'm going to click this icon, then pick my fluid. Boom. All right, so now go to the very beginning, then play. Awesome. Now I'm going to add in some daemons. RealFlow. I'm going to add in a gravity daemon and I'm going to add in surface tension. I'm going to add a surface tension. All right. Then I'm going to go into the fluid and change it from liquid to viscous. Then I'm going to increase the resolution to 4. I'm going to change the density to 5,000. Now let's play our scene. Let's try it out. Okay, this is interesting. Now let me hide the cylinder so I can see what is going on. You can see it's being generated from the cylinder and I think it's being emitted from the cylinder. No, I don't be emitted. I don't think I want it to be emitted. I want it to be a fill. Yeah. I'm going to change the emitter type to fill. Then from here, I'm going to pick my body, my cylinder. All right, so let's start again. You can see it working. I'm going to go to the scene solver, then use GPU. I'll save my scene, then play. Yeah, very nice computing with GPU, and this is faster. All right, this looks good. So from here, I'm going to add my collision. So I'm going to go into the body, right click, then extension, reflow, extension, reflow, collider. Do the same thing again, extension, reflow, then volume. Why am I adding these two? It's very important because now I have my collider. I can go to the display and show geometry. When I press play, I can see the collision geometry, and this works fine. Why I also disable the cloth surface, because I noticed that RealFlow does not interact with cloth surface for some reasons. Let me try it this time around. Yeah, it doesn't interact with cloth surface. So it's better I just add it here. I will set the collision distance to match the cloth surface thickness. But the cloth surface minus 3 centimeters, and I think the collision distance being 1 centimeter should actually be enough. So when I press play, it's still thick. Yeah, I think it should be enough. The reason why is because the collision geometry detail is actually medium. I can set it to very low. The lower it is, the thicker the geometry see. So if I set it to very high, it will slow down my simulation. See, it has slowed down my simulation, but the heat is there. I'm going to set it to medium. I don't need it to be too high. So I think I'm going to set it to medium, then I'm going to reduce the collision distance to like 0.6. So from here now, I'm going to go here and add some other colliders. So I'm going to go here on the body here. I'm going to add the collider, extension reflow collider, and the lead, extension reflow collider. Yeah, extension reflow collider. So let's go into the scene, cache folder is set to one random folder. So let's set it to a folder that makes sense for us here. I'm going to put, let me see which folder has storage. Should I hit folder? So this will be our, before I cache the simulation, it's a good thing to set our scene. So Control D, I'm going to set our project to 24 FPS. I don't need too much frames per second, and yeah, I think everything is good. And I'm going to set like, let me set it to 100 frames. I think that should be enough to propagate everything. But right now, cache. And I really like this because we are working with our cream, and the cream is very thick. And I like the fact that it breaks, not just draw. It's not chewy. Clumps together, then it breaks apart. So with this, we can go ahead and add a bit more resolution. Let me set this to 5, and I'm going to add in a mesher. Come and sing RealFlow, then mesher. So this mesher, I'm going to go into the mesh, set the resolution to medium, and then create the smoothing to like. Let me build the mesh so I can preview it. Let's build it. So this is how it looks like. So I want to be really smooth. So let's build it even more. Let me lower the resolution. Let me see. This is one of the weird situations whereby lower the resolution, the better. Because if we make the resolution too high, you will get it to look too wrinkly. And to be honest, this is not what you will want, especially when you apply the kind of material that we are working with to the project, to the mesh. So in this case, I'm going to make it a low medium build. Let's see. Okay. So now let me bake the mesh. Cache mesh. Now that we have this, there's one more thing I want to point out. You see that in my version for my video, it still sticks out here. Well, let me show you how I went about it, because if I come here now, let me disable this. You can see now here, it's flat and it's draining out fast. But a cheap way I found to go about it was by using this original cylinder here, adding an FFD modifier to it. Then I put the FFD modifier under the cylinder, then fits to parent. Now we have something like this. I'm going to rotate the FFD on this axis, then go into the edit mode, point selection, edit mode. Then I'm going to move some points till I get what I want. So now in the viewport mode, let me click on the FFD and just extend the height a little bit. So with this, I can also go back into the point selection mode. Then now it's good to make this thing flush with your simulation. So with this, I'm going to make it flush. The benefit of this is that now I can make use of a VDB. So I'll add a volume builder, then I will drag in this cylinder into the volume builder. I'm going to drag my mesher into the volume builder. Boom, now we have it. Now the resolution is low, so I'm going to set the resolution to 2. Now it's a bit high, so now you can see the place where errors are, like here now. They're going to keep on adjusting it till it's all right. So this works well. So now these two are one single object. The benefit of this is that now I can add a SDF smooth. The benefit of that is that now this FDF smooth, I can increase the iteration to make it really smooth. Now this looks buttery smooth, and this looks like the creamy one. So now with this, when I play the animation, it will take longer to play, so make sure that you do this at the end of your workflow. Now for me, I'm going to make it from a VDB to add the volume mesher. I'm going to add the volume builder under the volume mesher. So now this is already a mesh. So let me make this solid. I don't want it, yeah. So I'm going to extrude this the other direction. I'm going to do the other direction. All right. Let's go about setting up our lights and rendering this out. For this particular project, I'm going to make use of simple materials, as the material that I use for my own version which the link will be down below. It's a bit complex, so I'm making use of simple material. So this time I'm going to add a V-Ray material. This is going to be simple plastic, so I'm going to enable reflection by dragging this up here. You must make this white to enable reflection. Then add a little bit of roughness. So this will serve for the cap. Then I'm going to add in another V-Ray material. This will serve for the glass. I'm going to add enable refraction also. Then I'm going to change the IOR to 145. In this refraction of glass is 145. Not all glasses do. Some glasses have different IOR. So from here, I'm going to add a bit of roughness to the glossiness, and I'm going to add a bit of volume to it. Then I'm going to set it to like 10, then make it gray, then make the scatter also a bit gray. So with this, I should have a bit of volume. I should have a foggy glass. So I'm going to add this to my cloth surface here. For the sake of this project, I'm going to use an HDRI. So let me add in a light, dome light. Then click on the dome light, textures, enable texture, click on this. Then go into where you see where you downloaded your HDRI. I put link to site where you can download the HDRI down below. I will bring in my HDRI. I don't like this one. This one is not so good. So let me use, so with this, I'm going to add in a camera. I'm going to enter the camera, then click on the camera and set the focal length to 130 mm. And let me zoom out and just position it in a very nice location like this. All right, I think it's about the angle at which I made my version. Now let me add one more material. I'm going to add another V-Ray material. Click on it, enable reflection, enable refraction, enable volumetrics. I'm going to set, let me check what I do now. I do this material. Yeah, I'm going to set this to a brown color, set the fog to a bit brighter. I'm going to lower the power of the refraction so that the diffuse can shine. So I'm going to set the diffuse color to be something similar to. All right. So with this, let me increase the fog depth. Let me increase the fog depth to 4. Increase fog depth to 4, and yeah, let's start our render now. I'm going to start interactive render. So here's the interactive render now. With this, I'm going to click on my camera, click on the camera tag, then increase the F number to 1. All right. So now you can see our glass has a bit of fog to it. So in your own version, you can add the texture material on top. All right, so from here, let me drag the same material to the helix. Where is the thread? I think this is the material. I'm going to add it to the thread. So now for the fluid, I'm going to drag the material to the volume measure. Nice. Now I'm going to drag the second one to the cylinder. With this, I'm going to add a cyclorama. I like working with cycloramas. I'm going to click on this, our plane, then extend it so much, then add a bend deformer. Put the bend deformer under our plane, then increase the strength. So now let's rotate this bend deformer so that it will match the angle we want to work. So 90 degrees, then want to bend it again by 190 degrees on this axis. Boom. Then I'm going to move this bend deformer backwards, then move the entire plane backward, extend it, then click on the plane, and add in more subdivisions. So now I've got our cyclorama. All right, so now let me rotate the cyclorama to cover where I want it to cover. All right, so let's see. I'm going to change this from redshift to V-Ray in the render settings. Then in V-Ray, change this to GPU. Then so from here, I'm going to come on denoiser and enable Intel denoiser. So now when I start my interactive render, it should look really good. With this, you can actually go ahead and render this out. And let me see what you guys have done. If you want to set up your render settings in Cinema 4D for V-Ray, what you should note is that when you go into the settings here and you want to render an animation, go into output, change your frame rate to your project frame rate. Remember, that's very important. Then current frame to all frames, that's in your frame range. Let me move this to the side. Then in V-Ray, you make use of this instead of this save. Don't use this save. Go here and use this output save instead. Then save, then go into V-Ray. Like, you can tell V-Ray to stop rendering a particular frame depending on the noise limit, the max render time. I typically use the max render time after doing some tests. I typically set it to, like, because you are working with glass takes a bit of time to render. You can set it to 2 minutes per frame or 3 minutes per frame depending on your computer. If your computer is not at the best, you can make it 10 minutes per frame, which will take forever, but it's still going to look better. So let's say 3 minutes per frame for an average of everybody, right? So with this, denoise enabled, render out your frames and you will be happy. So guys, I hope you're able to follow up with the tutorial. Like I mentioned earlier, I've put the project file inside the Cheezi Vault, so you can get it down in the link below. And remember, I would love to see what you create, so feel free to email me the results of your render. I would love to see it.